Major airports across America are shuttering security services. Some could face closure altogether as DHS shutdown drags on. Funding drying up and more TSA workers aren't receiving paychecks. This is causing agents to stay home and then more delays at airports. Former DHS secretary under President Obama says the timing couldn't be worse.
Fund the Department of Homeland Security. That's my message to Democrats and Republicans in Congress. We need to get out of this business. It's happening now more than annually. Nobody speaks up for the federal workers. They are the political football in this. And let's not forget that we are now in a heightened threat environment because of the war against Iran. So if there was ever a time that we needed to fund the Department of Homeland Security, it's right now.
A few different ways we can go on this. Josh, we can argue that not funding DHS right now is beyond dangerous. But another argument is privatize TSA. I am sick of this crap. The American people are sick of this crap. How do you view this?
I mean, the airlines would probably support that, right? Because it would help them out as well. I think the whole story to me seems to be, or one of the key issues is just, you're never going to get consumer demand to come down for the airports, right? In a situation where you could help figure this out. And also that would pressure the entire system, right? We all vote with our dollars. And if you're not voting with your dollar to still go to the airport and deal with this mess, then that makes a bigger issue out of it. The issue is most flights that we take are not really discretionary flights, right? You're going to see family, you're going to do a work thing. It's not very often that it's just simply a vacation. And so what stuck out to me this week is you have all of this going on. It's clearly chaos at the airport. You talk to anyone that's going to the airport, they'll tell you that. You have jet fuel prices surging. And then what do you hear from two of the biggest airliners this week? American Airlines and Delta come out and say, we're going to raise our sales guidance. Demand isn't going anywhere, right? And so I think that's one of the bigger issues is the way airline demand works is it doesn't really matter how big of a mess this becomes. If one of us needs to get on a flight in a week to go see a family member or do something like that, you're probably just going to put up with it and do it. So it doesn't put enough pressure on the overall situation.
Okay, but Jackie, because we're talking about some of the issues, my worry is, when is it an issue? We've talked about Easter break travel in a couple weeks, and there are a few people, I'm included in that say, what if I cancel and just don't go because I don't want to deal with this? Then there is a demand problem. And then there's, I don't want to say a recession problem, but if enough people pull back and the longer this goes on, remember you looked at me and you said fourth quarter GDP was only 1.7%. I was like, what? You're like, well, that included the shutdown. Okay, well, if this is a shutdown that starts to impact growth, how do you view that?
Well, I think it's part of the Democrat strategy. So when asked why do they do things like this, the president said it very well in his Truth Social yesterday when he said they like to sow seeds of chaos. He used the word chaos. I'm paraphrasing the rest. But that is, in fact, what they like to do. And from the growth side, from the economic side, as people pull back because they don't want to deal with the inconvenience, then that causes a problem that they love to see because they can attribute it to Trump and low growth. And he predicted this and didn't deliver on his forecast. But also on the safety side, especially in the backdrop, if there's ever a time where we can find consensus to come together on both sides of the aisle about something, it should be about taking out a terrorist regime and making sure the world is safe from nuclear weapons. And why we can't do that, you know, I look at from the security aspect of this, what's happening at the airport, and I say to myself, the Democrats, in essence, to me at least, are playing roulette with the lives of American people. And they're just going to let this go on and on because it feeds their narrative. What might be a catalyst? I don't know. Something bad happening? I don't want something bad to happen, but is that what we're waiting for them to be able to move on this? We have just lost our way in the system, and the Democrats becoming so progressive, not being able to bend, you know, and looking at the constituents and the good of the American people as a whole, and playing with things in such a dangerous way.
David, you've been nodding.
Well, I agree exactly with what Jackie said, and I agree with what Jay John said. By the way, imagine if he had stayed on as DHS during Biden administration compared to Mayorkas. I mean, he's a very sensible man. One thing I would disagree with what he said is we have to fund the DHS, Department of Homeland Security. We already have. And the Democrats agreed to it. A lot of Democrats voted for it through 2029. You vote for something, You give it to the administration to carry out what's in the vote, and then you sit back and wait until it comes up for another vote. They have totally destroyed our way of doing things in Congress. It is their fault. I mean, they continue to try to say, oh, this is a Republican shutdown, blah, blah, blah. No, you guys voted for it to be funded through 2029, and now you're pulling it back. It is all on the Democrats. And I got to say, it's not like the administration is not listening to anything they said. What did they just do? They replaced the head of Department of Homeland Security. And they put in a guy who knows it very well, who was applauded by both Democrat and Republican administrations alike, Tom Homan, who we all know and love. But the point is that we have been working together. Republicans and Democrats have been working together to try to fix the problems that everybody agreed. We had some problems with the way ICE was operating, and they still are holding back. So, I mean, 100% this is on Democrats, and they better get their asses moving before something really bad happens. You're exactly right. The blood will be on their hands. And it already has. I mean, let's face it. There already have been some lone wolves who've pulled some nonsense in this country.
Brian, usually Minnesota and California don't get a lot of credit on this panel. California gets...
We get a lot of credit for fraud.
That's it.
We do a lot of fraud.
SFO, my home airport, does get credit for being part of the Screening Partnership Program, SPP. Effectively, it's like a public partnership where TSA, instead of its TSA workers, it's contracts that are required to uphold the standards and the background and the screening of TSA agents. But effectively, it's like a private contractor. I like that because those people are still moving on through the airport and not subject to the shenanigans in D.C. in many cases.
I submit that airport security is not a constitutional duty of the federal government. So get rid of it. These people in Congress, I'll go for all of them, Democrats and Republicans. You have forfeited your right to hold this over the heads of Americans. That's all we are right now. We are bargaining chips in their little battle. And I agree with you, there's more blame for Democrats here because what they want is totally unreasonable. But enough of that. This does not need to be a federal duty. Every time we give power to the federal government, they turn around and they hold it over our heads to try to make us do something that they want. The ideological fashion of the hour. We should be done with it. My disappointment.
I don't know. How would you do that now that we have given the reins over in this way?
Somebody should propose legislation that says we have a standard for security in airports that has to be met by a private contractor, and the airports can contract for it, or the airlines can do it in a consortium. But the point is, get it out of the knuckleheads, the hands of the knuckleheads in Washington, D.C., who just manifestly do not care about any of the problems we have they do not care, because what they care about is staying in office and mobilizing their extreme ideological base to go out there and help them win primaries. That's it. And if that's what they're about, then they have no business doing anything around security.
Love it. You have my vote.
I'm with you, Taylor.